Hello, good evening, viewers. I wanted to come back on once more before I clock off for the night. It's evening here, probably early morning where you are. And I wanted to say what a huge victory this has been today for the Democrats. I'm not going to get into the debate about whether it was a tsunami or a blue wave. I always saw it as the latter. But that's really not to underestimate that victory. Anyone who is disappointed in this needs to go back and have a look at the results, because the Democrats have taken the House. I'll say it again. The Democrats have taken the House, and that will have huge consequences for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Now, in the Senate, we've got to acknowledge that it was that uphill battle. We've got to acknowledge that senators in red states, the Kavanaugh decision, went against poor Heidi. She lost her Senate ticket. Joe Donnelly, I did see a little bit of a cloud around him at one point during the reading. He's lost his seat. And Claire McCaskill was the other one I was a little bit, the cards were ambiguous about. She's lost her seat. However, I said they might lose 2 or 3 seats, but they might pick up a couple too. Jackie Rosen in Nevada has beat Dean Heller. That's going to hurt Donald Trump, okay? That one's going to sting. And we've got a too close to call in Arizona between Kirsten Sinema and McSally. So I thought Sinema might edge ahead, but I always thought that race was close. I'm not going to do any more. We'll leave that to how things will unfold. In Georgia, God bless Stacey. She hasn't conceded. And that's good, because it was strange, because I didn't see a win in that seat. I wondered what was going to happen. Some people thought it might go to runoff. That's how they explained it to me in the comments. Thank you for that perspective. I'm not sure what's going on there, whether or not there will be a runoff, or whether the fact that I couldn't see that win was that any win is illegitimate and will be challenged in the courts. Okay, so I understand voters are taking Kemp to court. Interesting times. I think with the Senate too, I think results are not going to be known immediately. They're not going to be known, I think, for Kirsten Sinema, she's not calling it. It's too close to call now. So we're going to have to sit on that and wait and see. Gosh, I hope that would soften the blow in the Senate if we lost 3, if the Democrats lost 3 but were able to pick up 2. Remains to be seen. Okay, congratulations to Jackie Rosen there. Now, we'll go to the governors. There's been some huge disappointments, okay? We won't go to the governors. Just before we get off the Senate, Beto O'Rourke is a huge disappointment, okay? He was the hope, he was the star of hope. But my original reading showed that his inexperience may go against him. Now, people commented, they said, but he's a congressman, he's not inexperienced. But what I meant by that was that Cruz was smooth in that kind of underhanded way, whereas Beto was forthright. He was sort of the all-American hero. Well, that's how he comes across to me. Cruz is an underhanded, knows all the tricks. And, he in that way, he was a heavyweight when it came up to Beto. And I never underestimated the Republicans. I really didn't. So, having said that, I don't think that's the last we'll see of Beto O'Rourke. I really don't. He's got the kind of inspiration that can mobilise people. So, watch this space. He may come back I think Linda G's suggesting he may even be a presidential candidate in years to come. Watch Beto. We haven't heard the last of him yet. The other great disappointment was Gillum in Florida and Nelson in Florida. I think if you go back to my first readings, there was some ambiguous cards there. I said it looks too close to call. There was still that ambiguity in the later readings, but it looked good for them. It really did. I thought Nelson, my personal feelings was that Nelson probably would struggle, and Gillum was like Beto. They were the hope. They really were. And I think probably that's a lesson for us all when we want things to happen, and I mean, Florida's a heavily gerrymandered state. Okay, so it was always going to be very, very difficult, for Gillum. Having said that, I don't think it's the last we'll see of him either. Okay, these are the rising stars, the young rising stars of the Democratic Party, and they're not going away. We'll hear from Gillum again. We'll hear from Beto. Now, what else did I want to say? We'll go to the governors. Okay, so while we might have had that disappointment in Florida, Scott Walker was defeated by Tony Evers in Wisconsin. I've had a Wisconsin viewer, who asked me to look at that race, and I think I did see Tony Evers as edging ahead. Congratulations to Tony Evers. What a great win in Wisconsin. Now, this is my favourite one. Chris Kobach was defeated by Laura Kelly in Kansas. Kansas, you beauty, as we say in Australia, and congratulations to Laura Kelly. That was the one that I thought, that again will sting Trump, because if you remember, Chris Kobach was the head of his voter suppression committee, or panel, or whatever it was, commission. And that happened right from 2016 when Trump won. So victory was sweet in Kansas. Beloved Kansas. Laura Kelly, new governor. Okay, so as I said, anyone who's disappointed tonight, who isn't euphoric about this, needs to go back and have a really close look, because the Democrats have taken the House. Now, getting on to that, what I wanted to have a look at, the fact that the Dems have taken the House. Here's some of the things that they might do. Okay, so House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff has said he's said all along he wants to ramp up the Russian investigation. So if you remember Nunes, who actually held his seat, would have been nice if he didn't. Remember he buried and interfered with that House Russian investigation. Okay, Adam wants to ramp that back up. House Ways and Means Chair Rep Richard Neal from Massachusetts wants Trump's tax returns. Okay. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Elliot Engel, Democrat from New York, wants to look, and here is the wonderful thing, viewers. He wants to look at Trump's Saudi Arabia policy in the wake of Jamal Khashoggi's murder. Okay, so now we're getting down to tin tacks here. I haven't finished yet. House Judiciary Committee Chair Rep. Gerald Nadler, Democrat, New York, will also be on the lookout for inappropriate interference with the Justice Department. And here we're talking about Robert Mueller's investigation. So this is how it's going to change for Trump. Now, if you look back on my readings, I said, watch the way that they're going to spin it. Don't get caught up in that rhetoric and what he's saying. This is a huge blow for Donald Trump. I'm over the moon. I really am. For me, I want to see an end to this right-wing fascism. I want to see that end. I want to see it stopped. I don't want to see neo-Nazis come forward in the mainstream as though they're normal. I don't want to see racism. I don't want to see voter suppression. The Democrats taking the House, this is the start of change, okay, in the Trump era. Okay, so now with that long introduction, I want to do a reading because I want to ask, okay, so is Trump's free ride finished? Okay, are the Dems going to hold him accountable in the House? Is his free ride finished? Okay, love to be a fly on the wall in the White House at the moment. And don't forget, don't take any notice of how he's spinning it. This is a huge blow. They've lost the House, okay? And it's in the middle of Trump's, this kind of presidency that Trump is perpetuating, okay? So it's really, things aren't going to get any better, or things will get better in terms of accountability. But for Donald Trump's disapproval rating, it's going to tank even further. And of course, 56% in exit polls disapprove of the way Donald Trump is running the country. So only going to get worse. So is Trump's free ride going to be over? Is Donald Trump going to be more accountable now the Democrats have taken the House? Oops. Okay, so what we've got is this wish card, and this is about, I guess, materialism. I think this is also, there's a delusional aspect to this. I think also that the financial aspect, the way that Trump has conducted the presidency, from a business point of view, where everything is about a deal and everything is about a financial gain for him. This I think is. I asked, is his free ride going to be over? I think it's going to hit. It's going to hit. There's going to be some sort of investigation around this financial gain that he's made. Tomorrow or the next day, I want to get onto a reading Ivanka Trump, and the list of patents that China has approved for her. Her business was supposed to be shut. Included voting machines, a patent for voting machines. I found that unbelievable. But anyway, let's get back to this reading so I don't lose my train of thought. I asked, is his free ride over? This is the card of material abundance here. I think this is where it's going to affect Trump, though the way that this business orientation that he's got to the way that he does business, that's going to somehow be unearthed, okay? So it's the money trail. That's what's going to be checked by the Democrats taking the House. What does that mean for Trump? I'll go back to reading with my hands tomorrow. It's like anyway. But tonight I wanted to connect with you because this is a really special day today. Okay, so what's it going to mean? This is the Eight of Cups. This is loss for Donald Trump. Interesting in this card too, he's walking away. Okay, the moon. We've got the moon here, which is sort of these secrets coming to the fore, and the Eight of Cups is all about loss. The card in front. See, these cups are coming forward. This emotional element to all of this. This financial loss for Donald Trump, walking away. Money again, trying to hang on to it. Fear of, this card comes up with Trump all the time if we're doing like a psychological reading, is his fear around financial insecure. He's financially insecure. His insecurity around money and not having enough in the longer term. This is him here. He's holding on for dear life. It's under threat. Wow. Okay, because my next question is about Moolah, but we'll finish with this one. Okay, the King of Wands. I think this is the Democrats in the House now. This is like the top dog, the people in power. He's no longer top dog. Okay, remember this in coming months, because he'll fight and kick and scream and try and maneuver. And the Ace of Pentacles is new starts. Okay, so his free ride is over. Donald Trump's free ride is over, and there's going to be some impact on his finances as a result, which there's going to be loss for him. And this King of Wands denotes the investigations, I think, that the Democrats are going to start with. Are they going to subpoena or look at his tax returns? It's suggesting that there is a money connection here, that the Democrats will follow the money, separate perhaps to what Robert Mueller is doing. Their investigation is going to be following the money trail. Ultimately, that's going to result in loss for Donald Trump. Huge, as I said, huge win for Democrats today taking the House. Okay, now, what does the Democrats taking the House mean for the Mueller investigation? Now, we know that there is one of those Republican representatives who's keeping an eye on interference in the Department of Justice, and this points to the Mueller investigation. So the suggesting there'll be Trump will be less able to manipulate things to either prevent that or halt it in its tracks. Will Robert Mueller be emboldened now, come forward with the indictments, bang, 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 as people have predicted? What does the Democrats taking the House mean for the Mueller investigation? What does the Democrats taking the House mean for the Mueller investigation? Democrats taking the House mean for the Mueller investigation? Okay. All right. The Hierophant, the judge, the courts, the traditions, respect for the law. All of this is coming now to the forefront. This is going to make Mueller's job a lot easier. Okay. He's going to come forward now. The full force of the law is going to be able to come forward. And the Queen of Cups is this, I guess. It's like the emotional covenants with the people. So we have the rule of law in the Hierophant. This is going to be restoring the faith of people, I guess, of society in the rule of law. Okay, so the old ways are finished now. Trump's day is largely done. Might take a while to get him out, but this Queen of Cups is suggesting that Robert Mueller is going to come forward, and is going to come forward with resources, the resources that he needs. So it's indicating there's going to be those indictments, I think. And again, this is the Democrats as well. They're going to enable the investigation to take its natural course. And the Lovers, what does this mean for Robert Mueller's investigation? Again, I think this is the card of support and proposals. So it may be that there is, as a result, there's some sort of proposal put to Mueller about bringing the investigation forward in the near future. I guess that it's been dampened down because of the pressure. There's been a lot of pressure on Mueller. That is actually going to be released now. That there won't be that pressure on him. And indeed, I think that will make it easier for him. So I think I can see there's some sort of proposal there, whether Mueller, The timelines for the release of the report, for example, can now be negotiated transparently. Indictments can come forward with some support. Mueller's going to get support. Okay, this is the card that that he will be supported rather than under threat all the time. And the Ten of Pentacles, this is the working for the future. And I think, what does this mean for the Mueller investigation? I think he's always been about following the money trail. The money trail to the White House, the money trail to Donald Trump, to Trump Organization. It means that this is exactly what he's going to ramp up now. He's going to be following the money trail. And I saw in the previous reading that connection with Trump's finances. So watch this space. There's something around finances. Conflicts of interest in relation to finances. These are the things that are going to be brought forward. Campaign donations. It's to do with money and building the House of Trump, and indeed spilling over to Trump's time in the White House. Okay, and Mueller's coming forward, top dog, with his sword of truth, clarity, cutting away at the layers of, what's that word when you try and subvert things? He's coming forward with that, okay? So what does this mean for Robert Mueller's investigation? It means a green light, okay? The Dems taking the House means a green light for Robert Mueller. So really what I'm saying is watch this space because I think the Mueller investigation will now come forward and will come forward in freedom and, using the law as it should be used. There's no subversion of it anymore. Well, when I say no subversion, the Democrats are making it easier for Mueller to come forward. So, I guess the midterms are have been a culmination of all the rot that everyone's been through, the distress, So, I guess it's time to take a deep breath because, you've seen how Trump is trying to spin this now. You'll see the Republicans do that over the next 2 days. Don't get drawn into it. Take a deep breath, stand back. It's just not worth it because people will hit out and they'll accuse when they've been wounded, okay? It's a natural reaction for them to do that. So I would just say step back, don't take too much notice, and watch for things to start unfolding. We'll keep a watch on it anyway. Now, I think that's about all. I just want to thank the people that have donated to my channel. Tremendously generous donations, thank you. I'm saving for a new laptop and I will be doing readings with that laptop. The sound will improve because I'm just using my iPad at the moment and my iPhone. I'll be able to look into a microphone for those that need me to raise my voice. And yeah, so that's going to be improving in the next couple of weeks. So bear with me. Thank you again for your comments, your warmth, your generosity, your feedback, your kindness. Take a deep breath. This has been a huge and tremendous victory. And it is the edge. It is giving the Democrats the edge to hold Trump accountable. There will be more checks and balances. Yes, it might get a little bit chaotic in the next few months, but I can tell you this is the beginning of I should say the beginning of the end for Donald Trump, okay? And you've seen my reading today where we pulled the death card for him. That's not literal. That is the end of something and the beginning of something else. And this is what I feel very strongly now that we've turned a corner. You've turned a corner. USA has turned a corner. The world has turned a corner. Yeah. So, on that note, I'll be reading again in the next little while. I thought this was a really special day, and so I've done a couple of readings today. I wouldn't probably normally do that, and tomorrow I'll go back to reading with the cards so everybody can have a look at that. But I'll do face to face every now and then. But okay, I'll leave it there, and I'm going to sleep well tonight. Thank you.